to Super Belle Sews. My name's Sarah. Thanks for joining me today. I thought it was about time that we had a little catch up. I have done a little bit of sewing. I have done a little bit of shopping, done a little bit of gardening, and I've done a little bit of planning. So life has been busy but good busy for the last few weeks. I've taken on some extra duties at my school, doing some classroom teaching and things as cover, and that's gone really well. I've really enjoyed it. And this half term is going to be very busy, doing more of the same, but also I'm covering for leading some performances at school, and then I've got all of my usual end of year concerts and things that the various choirs and groups that I work for do. So it's going to be a really busy few weeks, but I'm very excited for the summer. I've had this week off for half term, which has been lovely. We went away with my friends last weekend, and had a really gorgeous weekend in Cambridge. I dropped my phone in the river, so I don't have any sort of record to show you that, but I did have a lovely time. We went punting, it was great. We had some lovely food, just nice to catch up with people and everything. It was really, really nice. So yeah, that has all been good. Anyone who has watched my Me Made May videos, there are two of them posted quite recently, will know that I have learned a few things from rotating my wardrobe, and one of those things was that I need more garments in block colours, because I have lots of fun pattern things, and one of the reasons I don't wear them all so much is because I don't have the right things to pair them with. So I have done a little bit of shopping. I have 4 new fabrics, all in block colours. There was one other that I wanted, which was a navy viscose satin from Jenny Stitches, but there was only a metre left, and I would like to make a sort of slip skirt, which I think would be really useful for me for work, but there was not enough left for me to do that. So I'm hoping she might restock. Let us pray. I'm hoping that she might restock. As I think more, maybe going into sort of autumn, that would be a really useful addition to my wardrobe. And obviously most satins are polyester based. So when I saw that it was a viscose satin, I was like, yes, but I was too slow. So yes, I've got a few things to show you. I'm wearing a new make. I'm looking a bit dishevelled because I've been teaching since early, and then it's been like a hot day, and this fabric creases a lot. So this is another Fabric Godmother Aspen dress. I'll put a picture of it here. I haven't taken proper pictures yet, but I just took a quick one before making this video. I have, this is my second Aspen. I made one in the Strawberry Fair denim from Fabric Godmother. This is in a nice chambray from Jenny Stitches. I wanted one that was a bit lighter weight, and also a bit more cash. So I love the strawberries, but when I wear them, I have to be very careful not to spill anything or lean on anything or any of those things, whereas this one is a bit more cash. It does crease a lot, so I did consider taking it off to press it, but I thought I'd just show you the reality of it. And it's very much, I mean, it's gorgeous, I love it, but it has been made to be like a very everyday version of the dress for me. I'm really pleased with it. I actually love this pattern. It's pretty quick to come together, considering you have to do like a collar and a zip, so a couple of quite fiddly features. I feel like it comes together really nicely. This zip is one of the continuous zips that I bought at the Stitch Festival, and I've not used one before, but I saw a thing on Instagram about how you get the little zipper pull on using a fork, and that worked really well. So I now feel like I've sort of broken that in, and I just think the construction is really pleasing. The one thing I have found is that the bodice is super long. Last time I had to sort of wing it. This time I pre-planned. I took 2 inches of length off the bodice. You'll see in the photo where that leaves it sitting with me. I am 5'4", so that will give you some sort of idea. And yes, I took 2 inches off all the way around the bottom of the bodice, and I'm pleased with where the waist sits now. If you want a dropped waist look, or if you're a couple of inches taller than me in the torso, you'll be fine. But a really nice take on this trend, I think. I have omitted the pockets on both of my versions because I just think they're a bit like out there on the bust. I did consider doing a single pocket on this one, and then I just decided not to. So yes, so that's the main thing that I've sewn recently. In terms of next project, I want to sew some plain fabrics up. I think I could still be persuaded to sew up a work style dress. I have plans for a very nice peony dress, another Fabric Godmother peony dress in one of their fabrics. So yeah, I've got a few nice pattern plans. I also want to prioritise toiling the Cinnamon Daisy Poppy bodice. I have lots of fun versions of this dress I want to make, but I know I need to take some time to toile the bodice and get the fit to be really good, because I've seen the amazing fit on lots of other people. So I'm thinking that might be something I prioritise next up, because also the cutting out for the bodice is quite quick. I think I've said to you before, I've had a bit of sewing block because I just can't face cutting stuff out, which is a terrible excuse really. But I think with that, because the toiling, the pieces are quite small, so I don't have to find a massive area to cut out on, I think that will hopefully tip me over the edge. And once I've made that and got a good fit, I think I'll be really excited to make. I've got a few fabrics in mind. I don't know which one's going to be my first one, but yeah, I'm excited about that. So I thought I would show you some of the fabrics that I have purchased recently. As I said, I've been looking for some more sort of plains. I've also wanted some, I feel like a lot of the clothes I've made are either super cash or are a bit too dressy or not practical for wearing for like doing stuff around the house. So I do also want to make some sort of summer appropriate sets that are just plain and like easy to wear and get on with doing the garden or doing other bits and bobs. So first up, I have brought a couple of fabrics that you will have seen before. One of them is actually in the same colour, the other one's in a different colour, and this is a viscose slub fabric. Now I recently, in my Me Made May video, posted a picture of me in this jumpsuit. This is a True Bias Darla jumpsuit that I made for our honeymoon, and I find just really nice, chill to wear, great on a hot day. And it's made using this viscose slub fabric from First for Fabrics. I actually picked this up in person when I was there last year, and it was only £5 a metre at that point. Now I picked it up in fuchsia and in red. The red is cut out to make a Tilly and Buttons Mabel, which was also going to be for my honeymoon, but my machine sort of went off sharing, so that's still in a project bag. I'm going to have another go this summer. And yes, the red I used to make this jumpsuit, and I've got, the fuchsia I used to make this jumpsuit, and I've got a bit left over of that as well. Now the other day, First for Fabrics said they were clearing some space, and so they were going to be selling all of the colourways of this viscose slub off for £3.50 a metre, and I could not resist. So the red was already sold out, but I have bought some more of the fuchsia. I just love this colour. Really, really gorgeous. It's maybe on screen it's showing up slightly different, but it's just a really nice fuchsia colour, and I really enjoyed wearing it. So I don't know if I'm going to do a dress or if I might make a little matching set, don't know, but I just thought I would regret not having this in this colour because the shade is so perfect. I got 4 meters of that, so 4 meters for £14. That's pretty good. And I also bought it in another colourway, which is this lovely mustardy yellow. I think they have a tiny bit, I think they might just have 4 meters. When I looked the other day, they still had, I think this was the only colourway they had some left of. I know people are scared of yellow, but again, I think it's very joyful. I would say if you're wondering about the weight of this fabric, it's very lightweight. It's very much a viscose. It has a texture, I don't know if you can see on here, that feels a bit like a linen style, but it doesn't feel like linen. It's very, very lightweight. So it doesn't feel like linen, but I think the texture just gives it a sort of linen look. It's got amazing drape. It is a little bit, I mean, nah, I can't really see through that, can you? When I look this way I can, but that's because the light's behind it. Yeah, it's just a really nice lightweight fabric. So the jumpsuit I've made has these big billowy legs, and it's perfect for something like that because it has loads of movement. It's very breezy for a hot day. And yeah, I think there are loads of things that this would be nice in. As I said, I haven't really decided which what to make in these, but I just thought having a couple of plains in nice bright summery colours, and it just gives me some options of what I could make with them. But I'd recommend going and having a look, especially if you don't mind a bit of yellow. I like yellow. A lot of people are scared of it, but I like a bit of yellow. So I bought those two. So that's 8 metres of fabric for £28, which is pretty good going. And then there was a really nice drop of new fabrics at Jenny Stitches, and I wanted to buy a couple of bits from her anyway. So I bought some medium weight interfacing. I wanted it all in white, but they only had a little bit left, so I got some black as well. I just find her medium weight interfacing really good quality, and I know it's going to be not too, like, sometimes they turn up and it's like a bit papery, or like when you iron it it's a bit papery, whereas these ones aren't. And I've also bought a load of elastic. These are for the Cinnamon Daisy Poppy, so I'm going to make the elastic back version and with the sleeves, so I've bought some elastic there. And then carrying on my sort of linen-esque, is esque the right word? My sort of linen-esque journey. I purchased some really nice viscose linen from Jenny. She had, again, a selection of colours. I went for this colour, which is called Terracotta. I wanted, again, this, I have a plan for this, which is to make a little cord set. So I want some sort of like relaxed fit trousers, maybe with a shirred waistline, if I can get my machine to play ball. And then just like a little woven, very simple woven top. I sort of felt like, oh, I want a little outfit where when it's a hot day and I'm at home over the summer and I'm maybe doing some bits in the garden, that I've got something nice and sort of earthy to wear. And I love viscose linen. I think always has a really nice feel to it, and it's nice to sew with. So yeah, so I've purchased that. So we've got those 3 colours. So we've got 2 that are a bit brighter, and then this one I think is a bit more easy to wear day to day. So I've purchased those. That's 3 plain fabrics. They're all quite similar. And obviously I've got lots of Gilbert shirts and little things I could put over the top. So the view is that if I have enough sort of simple garments in terms of colour, that I'll be able to rotate my wardrobe much more efficiently. And then the other thing that I purchased is something that I never seem able to resist, which is a lovely broderie on glaze from Jenny. So here it is. That's a terrible way of showing you, isn't it? So here it is. I'll see if I can get a single line for you. Here we go. Right, so she has this in 2 colours. There's a really nice, like, almost, it looks on screen like a neon green, and then there's this royal blue. Now, I was tempted by the neon green because I think it's very, like, on trend, but it's not a tried and tested colour for me, and I wasn't sure if it would look terrible on me, whereas I know that royal blue looks nice on me. And my plan for this is to make a nice skirt. So I want to make, I'll probably draft it myself. I would like to make it with a flat front waistband, and then my options are either an elasticated back, or that I make the whole waistband flat and have a zip at the back. So I'm going to have a little think. I think that's more formal. I also think you could do an invisible zip, or you could make more of an event of the zip. If you do that, to have a nice gold zip, which I think can elevate it. And then I'm going to try and make it like quite a voluminous gathered skirt. So a flat waistband and then a nice big skirt. And I think that would be really cute. I was thinking like just with like a white, I've got this white Gilbert shirt. Although that's broderie on glaze as well, so maybe it's too much of a good thing. But yeah, I just thought like with a white shirt, that would be really nice. Or you could make a more formal top. I think I've only got enough. I got 3 meters, I think. So I'll have enough to make a skirt. Possibly I could do something with a top. We'll just maybe see at the end. I think maybe the Cinnamon Daisy, like the poppy top, I could probably get out of not much fabric. And that would be cute in this. So, but the skirt is the priority. So that's what I purchased this for. And I also think that skirt, you can sort of dress it down, or I could put it with a smarter top and wear it for work. So that's sort of what I'm thinking there. So I feel good about that. I've talked myself out of a few printed fabrics recently. Primarily the new Fabric Godmother drop. I really liked the sardine print. but I have so many bold prints in my stash, and I'm very tempted because I think their viscose linen base is really nice, but I just thought like, oh, you've got so much fabric to sew up, like so many bright prints, and I just sort of thought, I talked myself out of it for now. If I come into a windfall somehow, then maybe I'll get some. But I'm trying to just be a bit more mindful about what I'm buying. And also I just haven't had very much time to sew. So I'm trying to think of like how I can sew in a way that helps me get the most out of my wardrobe when I don't have lots of time to sew, if that makes sense. So yeah, that has been how I've been thinking. I've got a bit of time this weekend, so I'm planning, as I said, on toiling the bodice for the poppy. I'm really excited to do it. I've seen so many good versions, and it's sort of fallen down the priority list because I'm just working all the time at the moment, and we've not got any foreign holidays planned, and so it's difficult to put that at the top of the list. But I feel like that might be the right project to get me going again, so get the juices flowing. So I'm gonna see how I go, but that is the current plan. Other things I've been doing, you may want to switch off now if you're not interested in my gardening. Anyone who doesn't know already, I'm attempting to revive our garden, and it's a very slow project for me, but I am seeing some progress. I have lost a lot of the pictures I'd taken before because of losing my phone in the river. But I can add some pictures that I've taken in the last few days of some of the things that are thriving. One of my approaches, so I've basically now done down the left side of our garden, probably about half the length of it, because it's quite a long, thin garden. About half the length of it is now turned into a flower bed and planted, and that like curves around. We've got a tree that my grandma gave us when we moved in the corner, and then another bed going along the back. And I've done some research into soil types and aspects and things like that, and I've tried to pick plants that I think will work. But there's also been an element of trial and error, just seeing what does well and what doesn't, so that I'm not buying loads of the same plant and then none of them survive. So hopefully by next year I'll have a much better idea, so I can sort of plan it a bit better. But it's definitely been about trial and error. I planted a rose, and that lovely rose came into bloom today, so I'll add a picture of that. It's by David Austin, whose roses are a bit more expensive, but apparently like very reliable in terms of quality. So I just thought it's a good place to start. And we also have an established rose in the garden, which is doing really well. It keeps getting attacked by aphids, but I'm using this neem oil spray, which is like a natural thing that I'm mixing up, and that seems to keep them at bay, at least temporarily. And lots of other things are going well. Some nice lupin, foxglove, my allium, my sunflowers, which are growing from seed, are doing well. A peony that I've grown from the tuber is finally coming up. I planted another peony that I bought from like sort of already grown from the garden centre, and it has not showed any signs of buds or anything. But this one I'm growing from the tuber. I thought nothing was happening, but suddenly it's doing stuff. So we'll see how that goes. And I have been growing some little like wildflowers and things from seed, as well as scattering them in the flower bed. I've also grown some in little pots so that I can keep an eye on what they look like, so that I don't accidentally pull them up as weeds, is the plan. Some of them look quite similar to our main weed, so it's not a foolproof plan, but it helps a bit. Things that have not done well, primarily the things that slugs like to eat. So our dahlia, I've had 2 dahlia planted, and they look lovely, but they've been absolutely decimated by slugs. And also a clematis that I had with these beautiful purple flowers, and I had great dreams for it to grow up the garage, and it has just been destroyed by the slugs. I've tried a few different things. I was recommend the clematis is the tricky one because it goes up a climbing like a wall. So obviously the slugs can just go up the wall. So putting stuff at the base doesn't really make a difference. But I think I've come to the conclusion that maybe things that the slugs really love, I just have to accept. Either not for the garden, or that I use them as like sacrificial plants. So I'm keeping the dahlia there. in the hope that the slugs just keep on at them and leave everything else alone. They haven't massively gone for the lupin yet, which apparently normally they would. So yeah, I'm hoping that I can sacrifice, because I love the lupin. So I'm hoping that if I keep the dahlia there, they'll just go for that. I am taking the clematis out because I just don't think it's going to be able to grow. It looks absolutely miserable. And I've been doing some research about it. The flowers are all getting eaten. It's just not having a good time. So I've instead purchased some climbing hydrangea, which I didn't know about, but I bought quite an developed one from the garden centre, and I'm hoping, I think it's like a bit more of a slow grower, but it's hardier, and the slugs I think apparently won't eat it, and it's I think hopefully will be the right fit for that spot. So I've just got to do some zhuzhing around, but this is part of the trial and error. I've also got a plain hydrangea. I can't remember if I said this in my last video, but I hadn't realised that the colour of certain hydrangea is down to the soil type. So we have acidic soil, which means the hydrangea will be blue rather than pink, which is what I want because I love blue hydrangeas. My friend bought me some when I got engaged, just a bouquet just of blue hydrangeas. And I was like, I love these. And I then had some blue hydrangea in my wedding bouquet as well. So yeah, so I've got a spot that I'm hoping will be good for them. The other issue we're having in the garden is Nala, my dog, pooping on a certain plant. She's pooped on the same plant like at least 5 times. Don't know what it is against the plant, but the plant has not survived. So luckily it wasn't an expensive one, but I'm just trying to work out what it was about that plant that really set her off so that I don't make the same mistake. So that has had to be removed, and I'm just thinking of putting something maybe a bit spikier, and then maybe fencing that little corner off until everything's grown a bit more so that she can't poop on it. So that is the reality of my gardening journey. I'm maybe a bit of a chaos gardener in terms of I see how organised other people are, especially on Instagram and things, and I think that's not me. I've got lots of colour. I just planted loads of stuff and I'm just sort of seeing how it goes. So I'm hoping that this year is just about experimenting, and it feels much nicer out there already, but that next year it will be much more established, and that in the spring I can sort of enjoy it a bit more. And we're lucky it's south facing, so it gets loads of sun, so that's been great. And the fence on one side is being removed and replaced at some point this year, so I'm going to keep it to one side of the garden until all of that's done, and then I can do a fresh start on that side. I've got some fun plans. Anyway, sorry if you didn't tune in for gardening. I obviously don't really know what I'm talking about. It's very much a new trial and error, just doing my best thing for me. So please don't take my advice. I very happily will take anyone's advice who's good at gardening. If you know how to stop the dog pooping on a certain plant, feel free to share. I honestly, the weird thing is as well, I have the exact same plant in another spot on the flower bed, and she hasn't pooped on that one at all. So maybe it's just position. Don't know. Anyway, I keep having to run out because I see her like prepared to poop on it, and I'm like, no. She's crazy. Anyway, you don't need to hear this drama. But yeah, that's a little bit of a catch up. Sorry, the sewing is slow at the moment. It's just with the combination of trying to sort the garden whilst it's a good time to do it, and work being a bit busier, although I'm really enjoying it. It's just meant that I'm doing a lot of mental sewing planning, but I'm just not getting much actually done. But that's why I'm hoping this poppy thing will get me going again. Yeah, anyway, I'd love to hear what you've been up to. Do you have any favourite things you've been making? Have you made the poppy dress or the poppy top? I would love to hear your thoughts if you've already made it. Do you have tips on the garden? Do you have a fail-safe way to stop a dog pooping on a certain plant? Would love to hear it. But yeah, otherwise, just have a great weekend. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. All right, bye.